When you hear the name Leonardo da Vinci, what comes to mind? Probably the Mona Lisa, right? A Renaissance master, this painter of almost heavenly beauty. But what if I told you the real Leonardo, the true genius, isn't on a canvas at all? What if he's hidden in thousands of pages of secret notebooks? Well, in this explainer, we're going to decode the incredibly complex and often really dark mind of the man behind the myth using the clues he himself left behind.
Right off the bat, you're looking at two completely different Leonardos. On one hand, you've got the artist we all think we know, a guy who loved nature so much he would literally buy caged birds just to set them free. But then, on the other hand, you have this other person who emerges from his private notes, a ruthless, brilliant designer of war machines. So you have to ask, how could the same mind that dreamed up the world's most famous serene smile also design a machine with one single purpose, to slice men in half?
And get this, he wasn't being poetic. That is a direct quote from his notebooks, describing his scythe chariot. It's just a chilling look into a part of his genius he kept locked away from the world. So what on earth created this deep, dark split in his personality? To understand the war engineer, we first have to go back to the moment the artist was, well, broken. A single event back in Florence shattered his reputation, and honestly, it sent him down a much, much darker path. He was only 24 years old, an up-and-coming artist, and he was publicly accused of homosexuality, which was a very serious crime back then. The shame, the public humiliation, it was so intense that he basically became a recluse. He locked himself away from the world for 4 years, and it was in that darkness that he started his secret notebooks. It's where he began to develop what some historians call a psychoperspective. Now, not psycho as in crazy, but as in psyche, a whole new way of seeing the world, not just as it is, but as this giant interconnected machine, a code that he could crack. So when he finally came out of his isolation, Leonardo knew he had to reinvent himself. He left Florence, headed to Milan, and he was determined to get his dignity back. Not with a paintbrush, though, but with something a lot more powerful.
And this right here, this is the pivot. He writes a letter to the Duke of Milan, basically a job application. And he doesn't lead with his art. He leads with this powerful, kind of terrifying new identity. He declares, I can make weapons. I am a war engineer. He was offering this powerful ruler the keys to total military dominance. And why? To reclaim his own power.
And boy, what an engineer he was. I mean, the weapons he came up with were centuries ahead of their time. He got that war wasn't just about killing people, it was about terrifying them. His great crossbow? It was as big as a building, designed to just psychologically break the enemy before it even fired a shot. He dreamed up a rapid-fire machine gun 300 years early. He designed an armored tank when everyone else was still fighting on horseback. It's just incredible.
But here's where the story gets really, really weird. When modern engineers looked at his deadliest designs, they found something peculiar, deliberate flaws, gears that were put in backwards, things that would cause the machines to jam or break. So what was going on? Was this a secret pacifist streak, a hidden kill switch to protect the world from his own terrifying ideas? We'll probably never know for sure, but it's another fascinating layer to this whole puzzle.
Okay, so Leonardo's obsessive mind wasn't just fixated on destruction. At the exact same time, he was chasing a much more beautiful goal, decoding the fundamental secrets of the natural world. And he started by looking up at the sky.
His obsession with flight was, well, it was everything. He didn't just want to paint birds. He wanted to be one. He filled page after page of his notebooks with these meticulous studies of their wings, their bones, their movement, all driven by this deep, profound need to unlock the secrets of the heavens.
And you know what? He figured it out. He realized the secret to flight isn't just flapping your arms really hard. It's the shape of the wing. That curved top surface forces air to travel faster over the top than the bottom. And that difference in speed creates a difference in pressure, what we now call lift. It literally pushes the wing up. He understood the basics of aerodynamics centuries before anyone else even knew what to call it.
Now let's talk anatomy, because this is where things get really wild. In Leonardo's day, what they knew about the human body was, well, a mess. It was based on dissecting animals and was full of crazy myths. Doctors actually believed your liver was a blood factory and that your heart was just a furnace for your soul. But Leonardo? He didn't care about tradition. He wanted the truth. And to get it, he was willing to break the ultimate taboo of his time.
And this is just brilliant. To really understand the heart, he came up with this completely ingenious experiment. He got an ox's heart, injected molten wax into all its chambers, and then just let it harden.
Then, he carefully dissolved the muscle tissue away. And what was left? A perfect 3D cast of the heart's internal chambers and valves. For the first time in human history, someone saw the heart not as some mystical object, but as what it really is, a high-precision biological pump.
But hold on, because he went even deeper. He theorized that blood doesn't just flow straight through the heart. He said it flows in a spiral, a vortex, like a little whirlpool. He argued it was way more efficient for the heart's valves. For centuries, medical science just dismissed it. But then in the 21st century, with our most advanced MRI scans, we proved he was right. Think about that. He saw something with his naked eye and his incredible mind that took us 500 years and our best technology to finally confirm.
So you'd think a guy making these insane breakthroughs would be on top of the world, right? Well, you'd be wrong. His notebooks reveal a man in constant, agonizing turmoil. He was decoding the universe, yeah, but he was also crippled by self-doubt and this overwhelming sense of failure.
He would just scrawl these desperate questions to himself in the margins of his notes. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Here's a man we all consider one of the greatest minds in history, and in his own head, he felt like he had accomplished absolutely nothing of value.
Over and over again, you see it in his notes. I have wasted my time. He accused himself of being useless. The same brain that could design flying machines and map the human heart saw itself as a total and complete failure.
So what was going on? Why this anguish? Well, many experts today believe Leonardo showed all the classic symptoms of what we would now diagnose as ADHD. His mind just jumped from topic to topic, from painting to engineering to anatomy, driven by this insatiable, obsessive curiosity that made it almost impossible for him to finish anything. His greatest strength, his boundless curiosity, was also his greatest source of torment.
And this internal struggle, it would really define his final years. It led to a tragic end, where the most important work of his entire life was basically lost to the world for hundreds of years.
On his deathbed, his very last words weren't of triumph or accomplishment. They were of regret. He truly believed he had failed, that he hadn't lived up to his potential. He died thinking his life's work was just a long story of unfinished projects and wasted time.
And for a long, long time, the world pretty much agreed with him. After he died, thousands of pages of his notes were just hidden away, forgotten, for over 250 years. Science had to spend centuries just playing catch-up to his ideas. When his anatomical drawings were finally found, a top anatomist at the time called him the greatest anatomist of all time. But even today, after everything we've discovered, we still mostly just know the painter.
And that's the ultimate tragedy, isn't it? The world fell in love with the beautiful, serene surface of his art, but it missed the real man hiding underneath. A revolutionary, tormented genius who was fighting a war on two fronts, against the ignorance of his time and against the chaos in his own incredible mind.
So it all leaves us with this one big question. Who was the real Leonardo? Was he an artist who dabbled in science? A scientist who was forced to paint to make a living? A pacifist who designed the deadliest weapons imaginable? Or was he all of those things at once? A beautiful, contradictory, complicated human being whose genius was just too vast for his own time, and maybe, just maybe, even too vast for himself.